Top of the morning to you. Hey, I'm Michael. As the grandkids call me Roo. Thanks for being on Roodoodles live Saturday morning. It's 8:57. Right now it's 8:59. I let that roll a couple times while I was drying off my pen here. And great to see you pouring another cup of tea too. I have to bring my, oh my gosh, my thermos up here. What's it sound like? It sounds like a ship's bell, doesn't it? It's Maine and it's autumn. The lobstermen's boats come returning with the catch of the day, and they're old. I think that's Fogelberg, Dan Fogelberg from the, goodness, what's that, early 80s maybe? Late 70s. Oh my gosh. Great song called The Reach, if you want to look it up. Ta-da! Sound does that to me. There it is right there. Hey, good morning to you. I know I'm crazy. My brain works that way. And it should, because I think like an artist. And I hope you're learning to think that way. Welcome to the show. I do this live on Mondays, Tuesdays, Saturdays. Wednesdays, I teach class on a private Facebook page. Got a full load of you folks who are coming in, and we're going back to root basics. We're talking about what happens when we add a little paint here, a little water there, and just let it do what it does. Maybe the opposite direction, add a little water and a little paint. I'm going to do that this morning for you. Here's a look at the messy desk, and then I'll say hello to you. Here's the shot. Top of the morning to you. Just a little pen and ink there with, this is one of my favorite little roos. I painted this one. He's just bending over and saying, thank you so much. And that's how I feel. That really is how I feel when I come to paint for you guys. Thank you so much. Those of you who've been writing with me, I think we're about 269. It's almost 270 days into this thing that I've been doing called Roodoodles Live. Roo because my grandkids call me Roo. Roo because it's short for rooster, because my name means rooster, and that's what the grandkids could say easily, Roo. And then Roo learned to doodle, and Roodoodles was born. And now you know the rest of the story, as the great Paul used to say. The rest of the story. Top of the morning to you, Michelle. Thanks for jumping on the show right off the bat. Michelle, everybody knows Michelle has made her mark at the local shops. Painting receipts. Who would have thunk it? Of all the little things that you went, you just have this following of like, where is Michelle shopping next? What is she spending money on next? And it has become very, it's been a process that we all are pulled into. You have pulled us in magnetically. So I appreciate that. Karen Bender, thank you for being on the show. Virginia Man, Skeeter Powell, top of the morning to you, buddy, from Greenville, South Carolina. Deborah Spangler, thank you for being on the show. Bob, morning from out on a limb, cornfields of Iowa. Bob, you should always be out on a limb. Here's the thing. If you're not living life on the edge, you're taking up too much space. There's the quote that I like from somebody who I don't know. Said sometime or another, it doesn't matter. So that's how close that quote is. Jackie Williamson Wallace, thank you for being on the show. Pat Lightbody, thank you. Randall Taylor Craven, Jennifer Parker, morning to you. Karen Pulver, welcome to Saturday, my favorite day of the week. You know what is a great day? And so it's the day before the day that we should just rest on the Sabbath. So, fabulous morning, Michael and Cruz. Susie DeLay, thank you very much. Barbara Mayer, yes. Fern Skelly, beautiful day on the East Coast. It is, man. I looked out this morning, went out and took a little slingshot shot at the squirrels, and they were climbing up on the bird feeder, and I'm going like, come on, I fed you guys over there. Get yourself over there. And so I dust them with a BB and a little rubber band slingshot. Doesn't hurt them, but they rub their side and go, dadgummit, that hurt a little bit. Debbie Bennett, thank you for being on the show. John Robert Small from the Coffee Plantations of Veracruz. Man, thank you. I hope the flowers are selling. I hope the coffee's brewing. I hope the hat is fitting well on your head and you're picking up that brush and painting something creative. Brenda Wilcox, thank you for being on the show. Alice Durham, Julie Waldner, thank you. Waldner, it's Waldner. I'm looking here, I'm looking there, I'm looking everywhere. Barbara Wilkinson. A heat wave in Southern Ontario. Pat Brooks, thanks for being on the show. Love having you on here. Glad you got your little package in the mail with some pins in it. Sue Kane, hey. Glad to have you on the show. Karen Kuhlman, thank you. Or Heather, I said Karen Bender again, who says, I crack her up, but I just saw her name earlier. Heather Kuhlman, Pauline Bold, Mary Lou McHaffey, Cindy Adams from Texas. It's Sabrina Kendall. I made it first time. Woohoo, Denise. So, Sabrina Kendall, if this is your first time on the show, and I think that looks like a new icon and a logo to me, welcome to Roodoodles Live, where sometimes I actually stop talking and paint. So, I'm going to say Lori Handel, Meyer Henderson, Stanley, Jason Nichols, good to have you on the show. Nicholas, Karen Smith. Jason Nicholas is developing this little thing with buildings. You know how people develop their voice? Here's the thing. Paint different styles, pastiche, copy from others, move through till you find where your style comes out. Jason has an architectural background. He also loves pen and ink. So you put those two together and you get these buildings that tend to now take on characters, and I think he's working on something. I like where it's going. There's a building, a sketch you did a few days ago, a little building standing off to the side that reminded me a little bit of Don Quixote, which might be an idea for you, that he's taking the antenna on top of the building and saying, back off a little bit here, as a, not as a spear, but maybe but think Don Quixote. Jousting. I loved it. Pat Normandale, thank you for being on the show. All right, here we go. Chris Whitaker, Denise Albright, Lynn Brown, good night. Ann Wester, you guys are just piling on like crazy. I always have to say hello to Burke in beautiful sunny Greenville, South Carolina. It's like a radio DJ, huh? Jacqueline Browse, thank you for being on the show. Jacqueline Browse, of course, is the place where I sent a video recently to her third grade class, and it was fun to say hello to them and just paint for them for one morning online, of course. Jane Gillette, awesome artist work that you do. I see it quite often. Jeanette Seal, marvelous. All right, June Jones, love to see you here. Appreciate your humor. Susan Peters, I'm going to move on through the show and say hello to some of you later. Here we go. June Jones says, Florida hugs to you. Yeah, I think I'm going to come down in Florida in June again. I think I'm going to drift down there for about 6 or 7 days, hang out at my friend's house on the Intercoastal and paint from there again. I got to do a book this morning, so I thought I'd just bring that out. Hey, Rue, as a wheelbarrow, I have about probably 16 or 17 still in the studio. I got to check and see what's in my if you go to roodoodles.com, you can get a link there. It's on Etsy. You can buy this from Amazon.com while we get ready for the other books to come out one of these days. And so you get it from them and they can ship it really fast. If you get it from me, it's going to take a little longer because I get them shipped to me and then I ship them back to you. So it's a little more expense there of a couple postages. But I also paint an original Roo in the front cover. And so I can make it personal. And then I can just draw this little Roo here like this, just a quick little sketch. This is sort of how I sketch those Roos. I don't get in too big a hurry. And after you've done several hundred of these, and then I like to think that this Roo is painting my name over here. And so that's kind of how, let me grab a little brush here and just grab a little, what's this? This is an all-purpose SW2 bamboo brush. Just go in here and grab a little bit of Joe's, actually this is Red Hot Mama. It's American Journey paint, but that'll give you an idea of what it is. Just give it a little bit of red right there. Then I'm just going to grab some blue, and that's why I didn't draw these tail feathers in. I'm just going to let them go wherever I want them to go like that. Just let the brush dance a little bit, and then I got to come in and get a little touch of yellow because roosters have a little bit of gamboge. My roosters do on the beak. I chose the colors that I like. My palette represents the brightness that I felt like I wanted the roosters to have. So when you're choosing your palette and you're choosing your colors, as a matter of fact, I got to tell you, I had a great conversation with Megan at, I was drinking to get some music going here. My orchestra's sagging today. I had a great conversation with Megan at Cheap Joe's, Friday morning, I guess. And we talked about some sample colors that she's working on getting me some small samples that I might can give out, especially on the painting class. We're going to start there. but see if I can give them out to several of you people who are purchasing from them and loving their product. These are American Journey colors made by Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. And I went through a lot of their colors until I decided that this was my palette. Now note, it didn't come in this little box. I put the tube colors in this little box, just the same as I put the tube colors in this little box that I carry around. But I chose the colors that I wanted for my roosters. To me, that's kind of really important that you choose colors based on your style, your voice. And so that's kind of how this comes to be. That's stuff that we talk about in the Roo Basics class. And if you missed that, just sign up. I'm going to do another class. I'm going to keep doing this. You guys encourage me to. Let me tell you what doing some art classes has done for me, okay? It has helped me maybe more than it's helped some of you. It's improved my skill in my art, and it makes me focus, and it helps me get in and concentrate on learning to do this so I can teach this so people can say, oh, that's what he's doing. That's where he's going. How did that work there? And so that's kind of been a fun thing for me. I need a little bit of Andrew's turquoise here and just need to splatter that, and then I'll sign it right here. Roodoodles and Michael. And I'll sign these in my name, and I'll put this to someone who's on my list downstairs that I have to get a book to today. So I'm going to let that dry and move it down here on the floor, and then I'm going to start painting something else. So it doesn't take too long to sign my books, but that's how I sign them with an original Roo. So if you're reading this to your grandkids, you can go, hey, why is that Roo different than these Roos? Well, these have been published, and they're a little more set in. This is just an original that painted in just a minute or two. Sign my books like that. Encouraged to sign my books that way when I was painting with Lian Zhen, the Chinese artist who really, I took two of my books to the class for him to sign, and he said, okay, lay them there, and I'll get to them in a minute. I thought, well, I'm sort of getting ready to leave. And he said, well, I don't just sign my name. I paint an original in your book. And I went, okay, I'm going to go eat a cup of coffee. Can I bring you a cup? And he goes, oh, tea. So I went and got us a couple cups of tea, and pretty fun. So I came back, and he had signed his work in art. And I went, someday, it was 10 years before I even wrote this book, someday I'm going to do that. Thanks for being on the show. I love that you guys are hanging out here. I love that you come on the show and that you, listen, I've been on Roo's Crew. I jump on Roo's Crew in and out every now and then if I have a few minutes or I'm sipping an extra cup of tea. And I'll click it open on my phone and I'll take a look at what you're sharing and the art you're putting out. And I'm just telling you, you guys rock. I love how you're giving art away. I'm still carrying these little booklets around like this, the little sketchbook. I saw Michelle had one of these on her picture the other day, and I just sit and have my coffee or tea in the morning, and I paint. I'm still painting bluebirds. I painted an owl this week. Take a look. Ta-da! There he is right there. And you go, well, that's this white fur. It's you think, well, didn't you paint in the middle? No, it's just this white there. I could have probably connected that. I probably could have connected that yellow just a little more right in there. Maybe it would have made that not look so. There we go. There we go. That looks a little better. So there's a little owl that I painted. Thank you, Sherry, for liking the original artwork I did in your book. Yeah, it's a little owl. And here the caption says owl, A-L, no, owl, O-W, no, owl, finally. So there's a little owl that I did. And then I felt like I wanted to do a honeybee because I love honeybees. And then I did this fishing fly just sitting at the table while I was having tea. And I love doing fishing flies. And this paper is 80 pound. It's not my favorite paper. That's crazy because I paint on it a lot. It's not my favorite because I wish this were a bright white. I love bright white so the colors pop. But this is still a great little sketch paper for me to have in my briefcase, in my bug out bag. I throw it right down in my bug out bag, and I've always got something to sketch on there. There's a little cardinal I did that says, look, I see me in the window. And so, look, I'm just always doing this. There's a dragonfly. I constantly take my 857 seriously, 857, 20 minutes to sketch. All right, here we go. This is 11 by 14 Fabriano paper. And I'm going to do a big roux on it this morning because I think it's time that I did a big roux. I think I'm going to do him this way. Yeah, I think I'm going to do him this way. So there it is right there. It's 140-pound weight. It's 25% cotton. It's 25% old socks and 25%, I'm just making that up. I don't know what it is. I could look and tell you though. I know it's 25% cotton. It comes in a big old binder like this. Big old is one of my favorite words. It's 25% cotton, 25% algodon, which I don't even know what that is. I think that's cotton in Italian. And I don't know what the rest of it is. Probably it's not wood fibers. It could be some wood fibers, but it doesn't yellow. It's made in Italy. It's called Fabriano. And yeah, this is a big old block. Actually, it's a pad. It's not a block. But it's nice paper. And I bought it on sale at Cheap Joe's. I was actually in there one day and said, I need some of that paper. And Cheap Joe's is so good to me. They send me paint. They send me paper. And Yasutoma has been sending me brushes, and I've sent a couple of those out to you already and some pens. And I'm sending out some more brushes. You're going to love this. They called me last week and said, we really want you to send out some more brushes, and we really like your community of followers. Okay? I'm not making this up. It sounds like some pitch, but it's not a pitch that you got to give to me. It's a pitch that I'm going to give to you. And they said, we'd love to work out a little thing where we send you some brushes, or you draw names on your class and send them to the guys at Cheap Joe's, because our brushes are routed through there, and we'll send out some brushes. So you're going to have the opportunity to get some of these little brushes that I know and love and paint with right here. You got to love that, huh? So, hey, they're paying attention to the community. Thank you for sharing my show. Thank you for liking my show. When you do that, they're looking and going, hey, these people are connecting. Let's help them be artists. And I love it when companies do that. They need to sell product. They need to get samples and good products in your hands. And so do I. That's what I've said from the beginning. So when you like the show, that's what happens. Thank you for sharing the show. So they're coming at you. More brushes are coming. They're on the way. And here we go. This is the sketch. I'm going to do this with a light pencil just to show you all that I haven't lost all my brain. I can still sketch with a pencil every now and then. And I'm going to pull out my new pencil today. There it is. It's a Palomino Blackwing 602. Whoops, didn't come off. I like the sound effects. Got a little cover. Comes with a cover. You know it's a nice pencil when it comes half the pressure, twice the speed. I have no idea what that means, but I like that. I'll set that right there. All right, so here we go. Ready? Got my Yasutoma brushes last week and love them. They are occasionally shedding hair. In the beginning, you might find some loose hairs, and you can just take nail files and trim some of those out until they start to get bold in there. And also, water will help tighten that up. The bamboo will swell a little bit and tighten that. So start using your brushes. And by the way, take care of your brushes. Don't jab them down in the paint like this. Roll them in. Sometimes with bamboo brushes, the reason I keep my trays full, or the reason that I paint from a butcher's tray like this, is so I can take the bamboo brush and roll it on its side like this to load it up with ink instead of push it down in the paint. When you push your bristles down into the paint, you do this. Well, that doesn't help the brushes either. So the sound effects are complimented or my compliment to you, okay, or compliments of me on the show. Here we go. I think I like, but you can paint on both sides of paper, but I think I like, this is really gritty, so I'm going to paint right here. I think this rooster is going to be about yay big. The reason I'm using a light pencil, remember, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle says, skate, sketch, draw like a skater is skating on thin ice. You don't want to do a big, long thing here. Lighten up with your pencil. Move back. One of the things I like about this pen is that if you hold it down here like this, you're going to have ink all over your clothes and you too. But if you dip this in, this is a pen. If you hold it back here, you tend to sketch loosely, and that's what I want you to do. Learn to back that hand up a little bit and let the pencil flow. And don't let it just be with your fingers. Let your wrist get involved. Get your body. Sometimes you stand up and sketch. I painted a lot standing up or on a high stool before I got into sitting here at a desk and doing this online. Here we go. So here we go. Let's do. He's going to be looking down a little bit like this right here. I'm going to sketch just a little darker so you can see the Roo, but I'll just rough him out here a little bit, and then I'm going to just let that go like it is. I'm going to put his leg down here like this, big old feet right here, and then I think this foot here is going to come in like so on the handle of a big old coffee cup like this. One of those cups that everybody needs in the morning right here is one of those cups right there. There's the coffee cup right there. And then I think I'm going to paint a little Roo right up here standing on the edge of the cup. This, all right, I'm going to leave that right there to your imagination for just a second. Put a little earth down here, and that's my Roo. Can you see him? All right, so tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sketch him in. I'm going to make him really bold and kind of so you can just see what's going on. So I'm going to use this pen. This is the bamboo. It's called, if you want to know what it's called, here it is. It's the TP. I have no idea what that stands for. I'm going to sit down with Yosatomo one day and say, hey, tell me what all these, and they go, it's just a skew. 235, it's a bamboo pen. Here's why it's called a bamboo pen. It's a bamboo stick. You know, I did this early on. I carved my own, and one day Phoebe from Yasutoma called and said, you know, we make that pen. I go, well, send me one. And I wouldn't have to get out my pocket knife and whittle my own. And so they sent me this, and it's pretty amazing. I gave my daughter one, and she's obsessed. She can't put it down. But on the back side of this, you pull this out, tink, and turn it around, and there is a brush. Oh, come on, really? Yep. All right, but you got to like bamboo brushes first. You may not like them when you just start, but the time will come. All right, most dangerous thing in watercolor painting is taking the lid off of this ink and holding it down so you don't spill it all over your artwork. This is Sumi ink, S-U-M-I, and I'm just going to dip this in and sketch with it. All right, here we go. So I'm going to dip it down in here like this. There it is right there. And I'm just going to pull it out here and start sketching. I'm going to start up here like this. This has got a great feel and a great sound to it. I love the sound of sketching with this thing. Where are all these going? I don't know, but you see I turned it over on its back because I wanted some of that ink right in there, and I got it right there like that. And we'll come down with this. I think you can still see where this is going. Haven't re-dipped this pen yet. I'm still, and I like it because it sort of gets a little bit loose and sketchy. Sketchy, that's a great name for it, isn't it? Kind of gets loose and sketchy. All right, I think that's probably enough right there. I think I can make something out of that. All right. Come right in there. Let's get a little of this ink right here and just come in there, and we'll do the eye in that same pen. Oh, love it. Look at that. Okay, so there he is. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and rinse that pen out like this, like I would a brush, and wipe it off because I'm going to drop it over here on my desk, and I don't want to just get ink all over me and everything else. So far, I'm fairly, well, almost clean. All right, we'll put the lid back on that. That's so important. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get some liquid watercolor today. I love having all my paint laid out here, but I'm going to go over here and get some liquid watercolor. Just going to let some drop in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bamboo brush, and I think I want to use a bigger brush today just to push some paint around. So this is an all-purpose, what's this? I need something that's like here's a CC1 right here. This is a calligraphy brush, bamboo. All right, so here's what I'm just going to drop in some water in here like this. If you saw a little bit of turquoise jump in on that, it was from something else that I had. Look what happened right there. Just drop some water on that. Just throwing some water around with this brush right there. Okay, here we go. Now I'm just going to take some color. This is This is Dr. P.H. Martin's. Some of you have seen me do this before. This is always a fun thing. I just love doing this. I'm going to drop a little bit of red right there. And a little bit of red right there. How about just a touch right there? Whoa! Okay, I did that on purpose so you can just see where it's going. Isn't that cool? Look what's happening. It's painting itself, you know. Don't you love that when it happens? All right. All right, so that's a little bit of black in there too, just to give it a little highlight on the bottom side. Whoa, that's probably enough. That blue doesn't want to spread, and I'm going to have some yellow. So we'll come get a little yellow and just touch it right there, and it'll yellow up on this side right here. And I think that's more paint than I'll need. So I'm going to make sure the lids are all these. I'm going to set out this white titanium, and I'm going to move this back over out of the way, and then I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to go in here and just start to do. All right, so I did lay my brush down in the paint. So now I'm going to have to clean up my hand just a little bit here. Anytime you're working with it like this, this is not ink, by the way. This is liquid watercolor. I did use ink to sketch, but this is liquid watercolor. Big difference. It's just like me taking one of the tubes and putting it in a small bowl and putting liquid in there and mixing up my own. This is already pre-mixed, and it's very, very, very concentrated, okay? So now I'm just going to use this brush and let it just make the feathers of this roo however we want to make the feathers, leaving a lot of holidays. Holidays are great for people. They're awesome for art, okay? So I'm going to go in here and just start. I think you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to turn it like this so you can actually see. I'm just dragging this out. Now, interesting thing that's happening, right? I'm picking up the black ink that I sketched with, and I'm letting it just run rampant inside and by the way, if you do this, you're going to want to make sure you have some paper towels handy. And I've got a whole stack over here. I've already ripped off. There they are. There's another one right there. All right. Because it'll get messy. I promise you it'll get messy. All right. Now we're going to just let this sort of sweep in like this. Come down. Put a little bit of that. Grab some of that blue. Bring it into the yellow. And I get this awesome green color. Bring some of these in. Now here's what I'm going to do. Take a look right here. I'm going to change brushes. I'm going to go with a little thinner brush, some that doesn't hold as much water. So I'm using this SW bamboo. I'm going to go in here. Now I'm using my, I'm going to use my rooster. I need to just clean off an area here. I'm going to use my rooster as the palette. Got to be Vivaldi I'm listening to, huh? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this right here, and I'm just picking up some of that. Now, what I'm doing with my, is that this black is taking over, so I'm just going in and I'm controlling. I'm actually doing a little bit of erasing, which you think, well, you can't do that. You go, oh, yeah, you can. You can go in and erase, but I'm going to go get some of this orange here, turn this in, make it into the legs of the roo right here. Then I'm going to go get a color that I don't have in here this morning. And it's not appearing in this palette. So I'm going to go over here because I like my diner mugs to look like diner mugs. Okay, I like something this color. In this case, I'm going to go get what's called a French gray right here. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to paint this mug in French gray. I'm going to add a little water to that and just let it splatter around. And just let it go about like that right there, okay? And I think I need to add a little bit of tea in this mug right here, or coffee. Let's go in right here, just add a little coffee or tea right there. Looks like it's had a little cream in it. Let's let it just spill down over the cup like this, because roosters aren't that careful. Need a little bit of spring green underneath. Let me just go in here. Let me create a little bit of... Can you see that? Yeah, let me just create a little bit of a sketch. This is how I do my earth here. Life's way too short for me to paint individual grass pieces. You know, just go, okay, what's he doing now? Just going to grab a little bit of, let that pen bleed a little bit and touch a little bit of spring green and a little water and just go back in and let that dance just a little bit like this. Might catch a little touch of brown underneath like that too. Just dirt, farmyard. And then I'm using my brush. Look where I'm holding my brush, way back here, just to kind of give it a little bit just a little roughness, grass, sowing grass, so to speak. Hey, I woke up with a little bit of postpartum blues. You know what postpartum blues is, right? You know what postpartum blues is? Postpartum blues is when you've been working on a major project for a while and it's been building up and the pressure's been building and you're coming to a date where that piece of art has to launch. And you're going like, oh my heavens, I hope everything's right. I hope all systems are go. I hope this comes together. I hope this story connects with this story. That connects with this story. I hope people get the vision. So Nathan and I, my son, have been working on this thing. If you remember, I've posted some live pieces from when I was up in the mountains of Weaverville, North Carolina, north of Asheville. There's a camp there. And it's a Young Life property. Young Life is the ministry that we were with for 10 years, and that was home for us. I posted a link on my Facebook page this morning. And a full disclosure, it is about ministry. It's about fundraising. So, and it's about 33 minutes long. But I told some of you I would post it if you want to see the project that I've spent a lot of months and planning. And then my son did a lot of the heavy lifting in his expert editing and graphic design of putting this thing together. But it's on the Facebook page, and I posted it on my personal page too. And I just wanted people to see it because it's a piece of art. But I woke up thinking we finished that piece of art, and I had a little bit of postpartum blues. You know what postpartum is? I get it. When women say, hey, you know, I carried this baby around, now I have it. And it's almost like Pat and I have been working on this book, and it's a postpartum when you have it, is that you have been working on the book and you tell everybody, I'm writing a book. And then the book shows up and people go, oh, you wrote a book? I hadn't heard of it. And you go like, well wait, it's more exciting to tell someone you're writing a book than it is to tell someone that you wrote a book. But when the book comes out, there's a little bit of, so the way I handled this for years is, and even in my blacksmith shop, some of you heard this story, I would start on a big fireplace set that I was doing for someone. I had a lodge. I was doing this big fireplace set for this lodge. And about 4 hours before finishing it completely, I set it off to the side. And I went and got my clipboard and I ripped off the next thing that someone wanted me to build for them. And I started working on that. And I changed my focus and started working on something else, knowing that the day's going to come in when I've built an art interest over here, but I'll go back and just put the finishing sweet touches on that. That space in between also gives you a little bit of white space to think about what you're delivering. And so in this case, we only had about 1 day between letting it drop and going because we were changing graphics and adding little words and extra voiceovers. And so all these pieces had to come in. The comedy that was in it had to flow with the message, and the message had to be clear, and the giving ask had to be clear. So all this is what you do in a major development piece of putting a fundraising piece together. So we didn't have a whole lot of time to process and have white space. So I woke up thinking, I'm kind of sad that I don't have that project to work on today. But what I did yesterday was I shot about 4 hours of video for another project I'm working on, a YouTube project that I'm working on. And so the thing about that is it gave me a little bit of that build back up. So when I finish a big piece of art, I have that sort of letdown. That's called postpartum. I just made that up. It's not a real word, but it's my word, and I like it. And so I'm going to use it. All right. So here's what I do. I refocus. And so, and I'm just sort of getting everything out of the way so you can see where this big old ruse going. You notice that this feather just sort of falls down there. It's sort of not connected. I'm not going to connect that. I kind of like it is. But I'm going to go in here very carefully, and I'm going to try and do this. I didn't finish this sketch, and now I got to be careful I don't lay my hand down in it. But I'm going to go right here and see if I can sketch this little roo in here, this little peep. Just my little peeps are sort of like my little bluebirds, if you've noticed. They're little fuzzy pieces, and they just kind of come in like this, and he's got his hand up like this, and he's holding something like this. And let's see if I can sketch what he's holding here. It's going to look like this, and this, and this, and this. Yeah, I think you can recognize that as a ball peen hammer. All right, so I'm going to come back in with some pen on this mug, and kind of bring it in like this. And then I'm going to do my veining in the feet with some fingernails right there. I'm using an '07 Pentel pen. Hadn't forgot about these pens. Love them. They sort of brought me to the dance. I need a little bit of this orange right in here for this other toe. There it is right there. Sometimes I leave out that third toe while I'm sketching. I noticed that. In fact, I left something off. I sold some paintings, and I just got them back in the mail yesterday. A person sent them to me and said, I appreciate these, but you realize they were just little bitty paintings that I included in the auction. And I realized that I hadn't signed them, and she realized it. And so I said, please send them to me, and I'll put a little something extra in the envelope for you. I am so sorry. Sometimes it happens, and you do that. So going for a little brown handle on this hammer right here. Going for a little head of maybe just some steel gray with a little touch of blue in it right here. Let's see how that looks. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Even if it wasn't perfect, I'd said it was. And then, because, it's my show. And listen, you guys are so awesome to be a part of this. And I'm excited that people are watching and picking it up and saying, hey, let's give Roo some fun stuff to give away on his show. I did talk to Cheap Joe's Art again about coming up later, maybe the first part of summer sometime. I'm going to go up to Blowing Rock, Blowing Rock, North Carolina. It's actually in the Boone areas where it is. But I'm going to stay up there a couple days, and I'm going to paint from Joe's front porch. And I'm going to do the show live, and y'all get to look at the show, and maybe we can do some fun giveaways from there. So I'll be telling you those dates. If you're in North Carolina, you can. Okay, let's see. Always keep a few creative things in the hopper. That's a good way to go. Made an emoji app just for, someone made an emoji. You're amazing. Is there anything you can't do? Yes, Susie, there is. I've never played piano at the Guggenheim, but it's not the Guggenheim, is it? It's the, whatever that other place is. Jack! Thanks, man. Glad you saw the Windy Gap video. That's fantastic. Yeah, wanted to do that, but also wanted to do it with not a disclaimer, because I claim all of it. I just want to do it with a disclosure. It is a fundraising and a ministry video, so you're going to hear the ministry of what Young Life does. It was really a fun project to do. I love that organization. And some of the money, we're helping send a couple kids to camp this summer with some of the auction money. And by the way, sometime early in June, I'm going to do another auction. So I hope you're going to be a part of that. Got a lot of birds piling up over there. Take a look at this painting. I like this painting. And what it's taken me a full 20 minutes to do it here, but you see how fast this just goes. And take a look. This is painting that I couldn't do with a brush if I got in there and started brushing like this. I just couldn't do it, because what you're allowing the water to do is take the pigment and just say, break out and let's have a party. And that's what happens when you do art like this. And that's what I want to push you toward. I want to push you toward saying, get the heck out of the way and let watercolor do what watercolor does. I think this needs a caption, but I think I'm going to make you wait just for a little show delayed gratification. I know what the caption is already. I got it in my head right now. So I'm going to sign this right here. Roodoodles.com. That's where you can find out everything about me. M from Michael. 21 is the year that I did it. I'm liking where this is going. I'm not going to erase any of those pencil sketches. I'm just going to leave them right there. I'm not going to change that black line right there. I'm not going to do much of anything except put a bigger toenail right there on those toes, and also a little one going right here from the thumb. This one's over here behind the handle. And I'm going to put some lines like this in the handle of this cup, just here. And I'm going to just go in there with my pen and darken that up some. And show a little coffee in there. Come on, I just did that with the pen. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? So thanks for liking the show. Listen, you taught me that. I never used enough water till I started watching you. Hey, we're 99% of water, so just pour it out there and let it be. If you use too much, though, it all goes to a napkin in the sink, and that doesn't work well. So you got to learn to control the water. This sounds like one of those health shows, doesn't it? Control your water. Okay. All right. Gracie, you can go back and see it. The power of the pen. Never underestimate it. I would expect that. All right. All right. So let me do this. Let me just put a little splatter on here. Is Margie on the show this morning? All right, Margie, if you're on the show this morning, this splatter is for you. Let me find something to splatter with. Just give it a little bit of this right here. Wait a minute. Here we go. Right here. Boom. Nope. Here we go. Right here. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Look at that. Just a little bit of sky splatter. Why do I not paint? Why do I splatter the backgrounds and not paint the backgrounds? Man, that's a good question. Why do I not paint a full background and just splatter the background? I'll tell you why. I think you're going to find this consistent always with my answer. My art is whimsical. My art is loose. My art is hopefully about storytelling. And so I don't want it to be too busy, even though there's a lot going on here. There's a focus. The focus first is, oh, I love this. No, it's right there. It's in the communication between these two people. And why is he holding a hammer? So for me, all this, if I had to go in and paint sky and a tree limb and a bird, I'd be going like, what do you want me to look at? I want you to look right there. And I want you to be controlled by the caption. It's part of my style. It's part of what makes my storytelling work. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to do anything, but just make something. Be creative. Share it with people. If you sell it to them, great. If someone calls you and says, hey, I want to buy your art, sell it to them. If someone calls and says, oh my gosh, I see that you have 4 of these little birds and I wish I had one in my house. You go, here's one in your house. I've given away a lot of art in my life in the 5,000 or so roosters that I painted. Okay? I started saying, wow, I'd love to sell a few to just buy my art supplies. And then I'd love to sell a few to have a new camera so I could do what I'm doing. And so the process builds. Don't get impatient with the process. Just 20 minutes a day, work at your craft. Would you do that? And inspire somebody else in the process. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to just come in with a little bit of this brown, and I want to splatter it right in here, just on the cup like this, and just a little dirt underneath. So that's why I want a pristine page a little bit. And I remember I started off by saying, I love those little sketchbooks that I use, but they're just sometimes a little too dark for me. The paper's a little yellowed. I love it, but I look at it compared. See, and it looks a little white here, but I like that stark contrast of the colors popping off the page. All right, I'm going to set this aside just for a second and let it dry so I can lay my hand on it and put some, I need a spur right there. I always paint my roosters with a little spur because when I was a kid, they would come chase me and put me on top of the chicken coop, trying to attack me. And they're just little wise guys. They are the farm bard. And I'm going to lay this down here just for a second and let it, let's see if I can find a place to put it. Oh, look at this. I'm smarter than I look. Well, maybe not. Look at this. Ta-da! Ta-da! There it is. That's what I was looking for. All right, I'm going to lay that right over there. And I'm going to do another little piece for you while that dries. And I'm going to come back and put the caption on. And you're going to see what that little roo with the hammer is saying to that big roo. You're probably thinking about it right now. And some of you are going to get it. It's so simple. It's so quick. It came to me early this morning. And it came to me based on an old painting that I've done before. So here we go. When someone likes your work enough to own it, I am honored and simultaneously gobsmacked. There's a great British word for you, Pat. You're gobsmacked. I work in my art 24/7. Chris, I am not surprised at that at all. You turn out as much art as I've ever seen. And Michelle, dang it, you're right on the mark. Michelle got the caption right there. I'll add 2 words to that and you're done. Good job. Okay. So that's how it works. All right, so here we go. I woke up thinking I should paint another bee, and I had a little bee here. And people say, gosh, I don't know how to paint a honeybee. Well, I didn't know how to paint an owl either before yesterday morning, but I started, by golly. And so there it is. Looks like did I knock my camera around? Did I move my camera a little bit? There it is. I did. Sorry. That's what I get for kicking the table. All right, here we go. So I painted a little honeybee, and I want to look at it. There's a dragonfly. Where is it? There he is, right here. And he's not that great. He's a little skinny bee. But let me show you. This is what is this paper? This is just paper that I do scribble work on. Also, it's not my Kilimanjaro paper. This is what I paint mostly on. Kilimanjaro bright white paper from American Journey. What I paint on this time is mixed media. It's by Canson. Buy it at a big box store. Wait until they do a sale, 20, 30, 40% off, if they do that anymore. Used to get 50% coupons before COVID. But it's 138 pounds, so it's pretty good. It's mixed media. I'm going to rip a page out here. It's perforated, but I don't have time to bend it and fold it and do all that for the perforation. No, I have time. I'm just not taking time. I'll prove it. There we go. See, now you know where it's... come on, just rip it off. I'll take the time. I got 15 minutes. I can paint a bee in 15 minutes. Surely to goodness. And don't call me Shirley. All right, here we go. And I don't think I need the whole page, so let me just tear some of this off too, like that. And I don't think I need this page either over here, so I'll just tear some off like this. So what could he possibly be doing with the edge of the paper? I'm just making it a little deckled or a little ripped and just kind of hoping that my painting will be good. So there it is. Look. So it looks like the artist just picked up this scrap piece of paper and said, I should paint a bee on that. Where's my fancy schmancy pencil? Here it is, right here. All right, watch this. COVID forced me to work out of my comfort zone, and I'm forever grateful. Yeah, you know what? You're going to find that. Believe in yourself. Thanks, Kathy. I like it when I share my sketchbook, too, because it gives me, hopefully, here's what it does. When I share my sketchbooks with you and I show you what I'm working in, I hope you see that it's not for you to go, oh, that guy is really impressive or good. Or sorry, just knocked my microphone over because I'm reaching for all kinds of stuff over here today to show you. It's so that you know everybody starts somewhere and everybody's got work to do and everybody improves. So this is from 2019. I share this quite often. You know, this was when I went to France. And so it's all here. There's Monet's garden. And so these are just little sketches that I would do. I'd pencil them in. And sometimes I'd sit down for a few minutes and just sort of go and then just take my little travel palette and a water brush or a small little travel brush. And even some of these were done on the train. My point is they tell a story. And I look at this more than I look at any photos I took from France. I go back and I go, oh my gosh, I remember Ardon. Ardon, you have to say it like a pirate. And I remember going into the market. I remember the bay. And I remember going to Auray and seeing Ben Franklin's bar. Yeah, his ship sailed into there one time and he built a bar, so he must have liked it. And all the French blue that I love to paint with and all the foods that I had here. Eat fresh, eat in season, eat small plates, eat foods from your area and eat with friends. Come on. So that's no one's quote. That's my quote. I felt that while I was drawing all this, except there was some cheese that I had that smelled like an old dirty sock, and that's that drawing there. Meal is honey. There's my bee right there. Okay. So this you know about this, right? This is a Japanese journal which pulls out like this, and it's all connected. It's one piece of art that's about 9 feet long. It just folds up like an accordion. I still need to do another video of that sometime and show you. All right, so here we go. So how do you draw a bee in the last 10 minutes? Watch this. He's got a head. What's the head look like? It looks like a pear, an upside down pear, kind of like that. Okay? There it is right there. Pear. Okay? Just turn the pear the other way. Okay? There's the pear. Turn that right upside down and you got it. There's a little pear right there. His eye is inside there and it looks like a D. Look at that. And part of that eye is filled in. See that? Like so. He's got two little antennae that stick out. And then he's got this little sunburst around his head and this body that kind of comes in like this. And then he's got a body. Then out of that comes these two wing struts like that. And how do I know that? Because my dad was a beekeeper. Okay. And then he's got his body, and it's just in sections like this. Okay. So now you see that bee taking shape. So watch, we're going to do it again. Head, look at it and just go, why in my class of Root Basics am I saying learn to sketch shapes? What kind of shapes? Circles, ovals, squares, cones, triangles, flat lines, round lines, all kinds of lines, stayed lines. That's a joke. State lines. Sorry, I lost my head there. Okay, so here, I'll just paint it the other way so you can see it. Go watch. Okay, so here it is. Here's the pear. Look, it's the pear. There it is. It's a little fat pear, but it's a pear. And then here's the D. Look, it's going the opposite direction, but there's the D. And then I'll just leave all this in right here, leave some out for his eye. See how this eraser works. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, now here's a little sunburst that I'm doing just in a circle. Why? Well, they got these little fuzzball things going around their head. And then I'm going to go out with some of the body. And here's where his wings are going to come out. There's a little heavier sketch there. But then I'm going to start his body in here. And it's in sections. So there's a section. Then you got another section. Then you have another section. And sometimes a big old long bee might have another section. That's probably big enough right there. And then you've got these legs. And this leg actually is kind of funky how it works. It comes in here like this. And then it comes down like that, and then it comes down farther, and then it has a big old glob of pollen on it, and then it hangs out. And this leg comes in like this, and then it comes out like this, and it comes out to the front. And then he's got another one over there that comes out the front. He's got two antennae. All right, so I'm going to pick up my pen and show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to grab this pen right here. This is a Kikuno Ultrafine fountain pen. So I'm just going to go in. I'm just going to go over my pencil so you can see it. There's his D. So a pear and a D. Come on. Did he really say that? Is it really that simple? Did you see one of my favorite movies is National Treasure, you know, when at the end Nicolas Cage is holding the pipe and he's looking at the room and he goes, could it really be that simple? Now, he's been planning on this treasure all his life. So I've been wanting to draw honeybees all my life, but one day I went, his head's kind of shaped like a pear. And his eyes sort of like it's not round, it's like a D, a backwards D if he's going that way, a right D if it's going that way. And then he's got this little sunburst of hair follicles that just kind of stick out all over the place. And then his body comes in sections, and then another section, and then another little section, and then a little tip. And then this leg comes way up here, and it comes down, and like so. And then then there's another one that hangs out over there. And then there's one that comes up this way and comes out. And legs are opposite than humans, okay? A human leg is like this. A human shoulder is like this, okay? A bee's leg is just the opposite. Got the fat part out here and then a smaller joint. Their joints work different ways, okay? It's just how God made them, I guess. I don't know. Well, I do know because I know that that's how they were. And then I'm just here. I don't really need to make the wings, but I want to see them in flight. So I'm just going to put a couple sketches out there and come down with this like so. Now let's paint this bee before we finish. I'll go back and finish my other piece of artwork. What I could do here is I could do this with a pen. I could go in here and add a lot of ink. And I just want to do a little oblong right there in his eyes. So remember what I told you? A little circle and then a little oblong circle. So there's one right there, a little this in here. Go in and put some of this pen in his legs right in here like this. Why am I doing that? I'll show you in just a second. I'm letting my ink be some of my black paint today. Okay? All right. Let some just go right down in there like that too. And then let some go in here on the tail end of this bee. Now let's just go get some color. All right? Get a little bit of gamboge. Yep, because I love it. Just touch it in there like that. Maybe come back with a little orange on top of that. Maybe a little brown on top of that. And there we go. Too much brown, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to touch that. Take out a little bit. And then I'm going to go in and just add some water to that. I'm going to add a little more water right there. Now, this pen's going to run like crazy, so I'm being more careful than you think. But I'm going to come in here and just let this come around like so. Okay. And then I'm going to just go in here and darken up this eye a little bit. And I'm going to just let my pen be part of the leg darkness until I get to right there. This is going to be pollen. So I'm just going to mix up a pollen color like right there. That's perfect right there on his back legs. Come in and just get a little bit of lamp black. Go in here and here and here. Maybe a little bit right there. So I've got this bee coming together. And look, he's looking apart a little bit. I want some of this brown to go right here like so on his wing struts. And then a little bit of French gray to just sort of let that. And I'm just going to let the water take that wherever it wants to go. Here's where I'm just letting the water go. Now, all the space on the page, why did I tend to run out of there? Because I wanted him way up in the sky, and I wanted to add a little blue here just like this. And just let it wipe around and just go and then splatter. Pick up some of that water, splatter it in, and then I can come back later and add some details in here. And if that's a little too much, if it's just skating away, I'll come in here and just touch him like this, and look what happens. I erased. Don't you love it? Now I'm going to go back and add some of that. Oh, he did not do that. Yeah, I'm going to do it right here again. Watch this. See how messy that is right there? I'm going to go in and just touch it. And that dries out the black, leaves it. It's almost like those of you people who were scrimshaw artists. Yeah, scrimshaw. You have to put the India ink in, and then you go in and wipe it out. And it's pretty amazing what happens when you do that. I like it very much. All right, so there you go. Little look at that. How fun, huh? So I got bees, I got bees, I got bees. There's some that I just did. See, just same style. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what happens. If this starts to run up in the back, that's okay. It may be just because he's flying too close to the flower and there's a little reflection. Okay, these got to go in the trash. Because if they don't, I'm going to have paint all over my rug up here. Yeah. All right, let me pull this back down here. Finish this. All right, so Michelle had it. She nailed it in the beginning, so here it is right here. You want one lump or two? And I like the surprise on the Roo's face. He's got a little bit of a surprise in his eye. I like the fact that he's got morning bedhead. Add a little bit with some pen here. Come down with this pen. A couple more little moves. Couple little spills there. Maybe a little bit more grass coming out here. And I say, this 11 by 14 painting is done. Okay. You want one lump or two? Makes me laugh. Sketched with ink. That's what gave me all this black up in here. That's what gave me this look of a darker red. You know, I just let it be what it was needing to be up there. Could I come back in and add a little red to that? Most certainly. I can come back in and do anything I want until it gets to your house and into a frame somewhere. And even after it's into the frame, 2 years later, I might come back and go, hey, let me add a little touch up on that. I just remembered something I wanted to do to that. I got one more little thing I'm going to add. Watch this. Here's a little titanium white. I think there might be some in here. I don't know. This is pretty weak looking, but I'm just going to put a little spot right there. And then I'm just going to reach down and just blow on that spot. Oh, yes. Perfect. Okay. I just thought that needed a little lightness in the tail. The only other piece I might do there is grab a little piece of orange right here and just come in here and just like let it dance right on the tail like that and splatter the rest of that orange right there. And I'm done. Finished. Hey, listen. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for sharing my show. Thanks for liking the show. Monday, I'll see you live. Hopefully, we're going to paint again. Until then, would you work on your art at least a little time today? Have a cup of tea. And also, while you're thinking about doing that, would you just think of someone that needs a text from you today, or a comment, or a compliment, or an encouragement, or something that you meant, and send that out to them? That'd be awesome. got a fun day today. Got a foster grand over for all day with Carol and I. We're going to hang out with him. He's a cool kid. He's 2. And then we are going to a concert tonight for some dear friends who are just phenomenal musicians. And it's local here. And it's opened back up a little bit. I actually ate out with my grandkids yesterday. I went to see a play that one of mine was in and didn't wear a mask. Walked in and sit with people. They were still seats for a little social distance, but welcome to what we might be coming back to what we remembered a long time ago, 200 and something, actually more than that, over a year ago. So listen, if you want to see the video I talked about, it's posted on my personal Facebook page. If you go there, it's posted also on my Facebook page today. I put it there, but I did it, let you know, it's about ministry. It's about fundraising. That's not to hook you. That's just to let you know the art that I do other than this art, because we've talked about it and I've actually posted from there. So that's my, not disclaimer, but disclosure on what it's about. And it's 30-something minutes long if you got the time. I'm going to just throw this in the auction probably the first part of June, and that'll be a fun thing to do, I think. So I'll look forward to doing that. This is a good painting. You want 1 lump or 2, and it's 11 by 14. It could be matted. This could be one of the bigger wall pieces that I do. And so work hard, play hard, and enjoy life. Life is too short not to. It's after 10 o'clock, and I'm going to be out of here like a herd of turtles in just a minute. Let's see. Let's see what pops up here on the last little bit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And here we go. See ya Monday. All right.